to my rescue when I call. And Lord, you hear every idle word, every thoughtless deed, how it seems absurd that, Lord, you give not what I am due, but mercy. You come to my rescue. You come to my rescue. You come to my rescue. Oh, you come to my rescue. You come to my rescue, Lord, to my. Come, my friend, amazing love, whose boundaries have no end. And Lord, you show what a great love can do by being there for my rescue. And Lord, I give all I can give. All of my heart, long as I shall live. So Lord, oh Lord, I just want to thank you for coming to my rescue. You come to my rescue. You come to my rescue. To my rescue. To my rescue. It's hard to tell you how I feel. It's hard to tell you just how grateful I am. But I'm still gonna make it show. With every breath gonna let you know. I am accepting though I can't comprehend how I could be worth the cost when I was bound to spend. Lord, I give all I can give. All my all of my heart, long as I shall live. So Lord, oh Lord, I just want to thank you. I really want to thank you for coming to my rescue. Come to my rescue. You come to my rescue. Always, He is always there for me. And He'll be right there for you. Lord, I know I don't deserve it, but you love me anyhow. You come to my rescue. Keep on coming to my rescue. You come to my rescue. Keep on coming to my rescue. You come to my.
On. All right. Okay. Thank you guys for coming. I mean, sometimes you have breakouts and you're like, is anybody going to show? You wonder. So I'm glad that you're here. Even if you're in the same seat that you were earlier, you know, that's totally fine. So this session is hard because the title of it is He Remains Merciful Even When I Fail. So it's hard when we fail, right? It's hard to feel like a failure. And we as women have so many opportunities to fail, right? Because a lot of times we have husbands, or we have brothers or sisters, or we have parents, and then we have children. There's a whole different opportunity to fail, right? And there's a point where, of course, our children are grown, and they make their own choices and their own decisions, but there's still that part of you that's like, ugh, what did I do wrong? I used to joke, I never wanted to do anything that caused my children to go into therapy. All 4 of them have been into therapy. And let me say this firmly, therapy, counseling, do it. If you don't think you need it, you absolutely do. Don't care how old you are, for real. Like it is hard work, but it's work that is worth it. So I want to encourage that. Also, my Nana always, this was so interesting to me. So whenever my dad passed away, that's one thing I didn't say. He had throat cancer. This was the second time he had throat cancer. And it was probably because he smoked a lot. And before that, he had to have a quadruple bypass. And the doctor, I was in the room when the doctor said, Mr. Lynn, if you continue to smoke, you might as well hold a gun to your head. Right? But he continued to do it, and he tried to get, he tried country boy tried hypnosis, he tried acupuncture, he tried all the things and could not get rid of it. But my Nana always felt guilty because it was her dad who gave him his first cigarette. And I'm like, Nana. This was also the Nana that said, if you walk into that dance hall, God lets go of your hand. Yeah, because dancing was a thing, right? So, anyways, I say all that to say, one of the things I'm going to talk about right now is kind of a parenting guilt thing, but we can use it and apply it to our lives in other ways. So, my oldest daughter, Jillian, sometimes you say your oldest one is kind of the experiment because you don't know exactly what you're doing, okay? And you try things that you're like, oh, that didn't work with this one. Maybe it'll work with the next one or whatever it is, So Jillian was 13 at the time, and I was at a ladies' retreat. And she also had a phone. Let me say that. So this would have been 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago, 9 years ago. I was at a ladies' retreat, and it was Sunday morning. And my spirit just said, you need to check Jillian's phone. And I went, okay, well, that's weird. So months before, I had noticed that she had been a little bit farther and farther away from us. And she'd always been a phenomenal big sister, but she had been treating her siblings a little bit rougher and kind of meaner. And even at Christmas time, she wasn't as engaging. And so I kind of felt like she was slowly, just farther and farther away. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to have to act on this nudging of the Spirit, because how many times has the Spirit nudged you to do something and you didn't do it? And you went, dadgummit. That's what that was. That was the Spirit telling me I needed to try something or do something. So I get home on Sunday. Of course, I'm exhausted. Monday, I'm like, Jillian, I need to see your phone. And she goes, why? Oh, ding, ding, ding. So Jillian, I just need to see your phone. She goes, well, no. I said, no. Hand me your phone right now. Now, on this particular Monday night, Michael was at an elders meeting. Coincidence, right? I'm sure he planned it that way. But, so I took her phone, and I found there was an app. I don't even remember the name of it, but it was like a hidden app that you could keep hidden from your parents. And it was this whole social network thing. And Jillian literally had, and side note, I have her permission to share this story. I've shared it more than once. Jillian literally had a total online life. She had an online boyfriend. She was saying words that I had never heard come out of her mouth before, but she was typing them. And I was like, what in the world is this? And she is sobbing, I'm so sorry, these are my friends, and I'm like, Jillian, you have friends on this side of the screen who love you. But these people, so-and-so was going to commit suicide, and if I didn't talk to them, then they would have killed themselves, and she's very compassionate, very, very compassionate. I'm like, Jillian, no. I need this phone. And she said, please don't tell Daddy, please don't tell Daddy. I'm like, no, Daddy and I are a team. He's going to know about this. Because listen, I'm suffering, he's going to suffer too, right? We're going to go through this together. And she is just beside herself. Of course, she's mad, she's upset, she's whatever. She goes off to her room, slams the door, yada, yada, yada. I made sure and took screenshots, sent them to myself, all the things. So Michael gets home from the elders meeting, which I'm sure was so much fun. And I'm like, hey, babe, we need to talk about something. And he's like, oh, I mean, he's beside himself too. He's like, and I asked her, would you ever say these words in my company? And she's like, no. I'm like, then why are you saying them here? It's just like you are saying them out loud. So we say, Jillian, of course, no phone, blah, 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 whatever. 2 weeks later, I go into her room, and as I walk into her room, I did not knock. As I walked into her room, I saw her shove something under a pillow, and I went, hey, Jilly, what's that? She goes, I don't know. What? I'm like, the thing that you just put under the pillow, what is that? So JC would have been 6 at the time, I think, 6 or 7, the youngest. And she goes, oh, JC's iPad, JC's tablet. She's been looking for this. I said, oh, has she? I said, you're not on an app or anything that you shouldn't be on. You aren't talking to anybody. No, ma'am. Girl. Why, yes, you are. Yes, you are. And she, of course, again, please don't tell Daddy, please don't tell Daddy. I'm like, girl, you know what's going to happen. I'm going to tell Daddy. So, told Michael, we're eating dinner, and in the middle of dinner, I thought, I'm taking the door off the hinges. We getting serious now. Mama ain't messing. This is my first kid. I gotta draw the line. So I don't even tell Michael, I don't tell anybody. I just go and grab a screwdriver. I just take the door off the hinges, and I walk it into my room, and I lean it up against my wall. And then she happens to walk by, and she goes, oh, I guess I'm not going to get dressed in my room. I'm like, you got a bathroom. You'll be fine, right? I said, Jillian, let me tell you something, honey. You think you've got this 15-year-old boyfriend that's on the other side of that screen? He could be a 33-year-old man. And he's going to convince you that we are horrible, and we don't love you. We don't even like you. We don't even like you. And that he's going to tell you all the right things, and he's going to be the only one you can talk to, the only one you can rely on, the only one who truly loves you, and then he's going to convince you to meet him somewhere, and then he's going to snatch you up, and he's going to sell you. And he will not blink. And then I saw, like, reality set in on her face. And she realized that I could be telling the truth. Right? And so, after that time, I remember whenever the second episode, we'll call it episode, happened, like my life's a movie or something, or a TV show, sometimes it is, but I remember Joy running up to me, she goes, Mama, I'm not going to be like Jillian. I'm not, do you remember this? I remember we were in the hall. She goes, I'm not going to be like Jillian, I promise. I'm going to make good choices. I said, baby, how about we just make good choices to make them? Not because Jillian made, bad choices. And you're not going to always make the good choice, right? Because none of us always do. None of us always make the good choice. So, we're going to look, oh gosh, how much time do I have left? We're 10:45 or 11? 11, right? 11. Okay, cool. Let's turn to John. John chapter 13. So failure does not surprise God at all. He factored it into the cross. Okay? Let's look at Peter. John chapter 13, verses 15 through 17. For I have given you an example that you should also do just as I have done for you. Maybe that's not what I was talking about. I'm in John 13. Oh, that's when he washed the disciples' feet. Oh, okay, in 14, so Jesus washes the disciples' feet. He's talking about somebody who's going to betray him. He talks about all the things. At the Last Supper, Jesus told Peter that he would deny him. Not because he was predicting randomly, but because he knew. And yet, Jesus still washed Peter's feet. He still shared bread with him. He still called him rock. Jesus did not discover Peter's weakness in the courtyard. He knew it in the upper room. Jesus knew the whole time what was going to happen. And whenever I found out that Jillian had like this whole online life and I didn't know about it, I totally felt blindsided by it. Like I felt like, how did I miss this? Like, how did I not see it? But here is what I realized is that I was surprised, but you know who wasn't? God. God was not surprised at all. He didn't gasp in heaven, look at what Jillian did. He wasn't scrambling for a backup plan. That was totally part of Jillian's story, and totally a story that I've told at a ladies' day before, where I had someone come up to me sobbing saying, my son was in the same situation, and I thought it was just us, you know. But you have to be keenly aware and listen to that spirit. The cross already covered that moment, and we experience failure as interruption, and God experiences it as already accountable, already accounted for grace. So we also have conviction. Like I was so convicted by that, right? And there are different things that we're convicted by. But conviction, if you're convicted by something, whenever you mess up, it's proof of relationship, right? It's proof that you have a relationship with God. If you had a dead heart, your dead heart would not grieve sin. There are all different kinds of griefs, but yeah, we do grieve sin. Look at David after Nathan confronts him, and let's look at Psalm 51. Psalm 51. Verses 1 through 12. Oh, one more thing I was going to talk about that also with Peter and Jesus is that Jesus told the disciples, hey, I'm going to send a helper for you, but you can't have the helper until I'm gone, and that spirit's going to stay with you, and I love that too. So he didn't withhold gifts or love or grace because they messed up, right? So let's look at David after Nathan confronts him. Psalm 51 is not defensive at all. Let's read verses 1 through 12. Have mercy on me, O God, according to your steadfast love. According to your abundant mercy, blot out my transgressions. Wash me thoroughly from my iniquity and cleanse me from my sin. For I know my transgressions, and my sin is ever before me. Against you, only you, have I sinned and done what is evil in your sight, so that you may be justified in your words and blameless in your judgment. Behold, I was brought forth in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. Behold, you delight in truth, in the inward being, and you teach me wisdom in the secret heart. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Let me hear joy and gladness. Let the bones that you have broken rejoice. I love that part. Let the bones that you have broken rejoice. Hide your face from my sins and blot out all my iniquities. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Cast me not away from your presence, and take not your Holy Spirit from me. Restore to me the joy of your salvation, and uphold me with a willing spirit. So why did David ache? Like if he was just like, I'm sinning just to sin, why would he ache? It's because his heart belonged to God. Pharaoh's heart was hardened, but his heart belonged to God. David's heart broke whenever he came to the Lord. And conviction is not God pushing you away, it's God pulling you close enough to feel the hurt. So God wants you to come to him whenever you're hurt. And the fact that I felt sick to my stomach when I realized that I had missed something with Jillian, it wasn't condemnation of what I had done or not done, it was conviction. And conviction is evidence that the Spirit is still working. A woman who is spiritually numb does not care. And I've seen spiritual numbness. Have y'all seen that before? Whenever people are just so caught in it that they're just like, whatever. I mean, y'all, the situation that I was talking about earlier, the deacon's wife was literally teaching a ladies' class while having an affair. That's some spiritual numbness, in my opinion. Like, you have no conviction. And that is, like, that's hard to realize. A woman who belongs to God feels it. You feel that conviction. You feel that hurt. And it's not a condemnation or a courtroom. It's the Lord saying, let's fix this. Failure may shape you, but it's not going to cancel you, right? So if we fail, it's going to shape who we are. It did for me. And it gave me more grace for other parents. And also, it helped me be more aware of who my child was hanging out with. Because this is what I tell my children all the time, and I still tell them this because I've still got two at home. Joshua's a senior, JC's a freshman. I'm like, you will become who you surround yourself with. And if you are more of a positive influence in their life than their negative is in your life, cool. But the moment you start having attitude with me or start acting a fool, guess what's going to happen? You can't hang out with them anymore until you get right, and then maybe we can try it again. But I have stood by that. Like, I do believe that there are kids out there who have a rough home life and that they need more love and that they need more grace, and I completely believe that. And at the same time, that's not going to be at the expense of my child's soul, right? I'm going to love you, but you just can't hang out with my kid right now. Okay? I'm not equipped. I don't have, and that's okay. Like, I really do think it's okay to be aware of who your kids are hanging out with, and even as adults, who we hang out with. I know sometimes we forget that, once we were 15, once we were 16, once we were 20, 21, whatever. But who are you hanging out with? And how are they influencing you? I have a friend right now, and she's the lady at our church, and she's absolutely precious. She has 4 friends that she takes trips with, and she's the designated driver. And they have these little wine weekends, and I guess she just sits back and watches them act a fool, but she's their designated driver, and I'm thinking, who are we hanging out with, right? Thank goodness it's not other church ladies. I know that, but still, like who are we? Because here's the thing, getting drunk is the same as gossiping, is the same as like name all the sins, right? And so we have to be aware. Like, sometimes if I get around this person, I'm going to start gossiping. Even negative people. You have to say, okay, am I a nice person around them? Or am I not so nice person around them? I have to check myself and make sure that I'm not the problem, or if I am the problem, I fix myself, or if I can't be good around them, make good choices, then I need to kind of separate myself from them for a little while, and that's okay. Another thing that we do in our house is that we forgive quickly. Like, we try to forgive quickly. I did not hold this over Jillian's head forever and ever, amen. We went on with our life, and we did normal things. And whenever she got her phone back, you want to guess what she got? She got a flip phone, which was the shame of all shames in the youth group. And that was okay. She didn't have to pull her flip phone out. They knew she didn't have her phone. She didn't have to pull it out. But I wanted her to feel it. And I said, Jillian, trust is way easier to lose than it is to gain back. So this is going to be work. And sister worked hard because she realized that trust that was broken. And after, I don't even know, maybe 3 months, she came to us and she said, hey, Mama, I really think that it's time that I can get another phone. And I said, okay, tell me why. And so she had good reasons why, and I was like, okay, well, your dad and I will discuss it. We'll let you know. She's like, okay. And she was not demanding. She was not like, oh, I deserve this. I earned this. I've been good. I've been, like probation, like she's been on or wants out on parole, right? No, she she really worked hard to do that. And another thing that I try to do in my house is I tell my kids when I'm wrong. From the time that they were little, if I messed up, I said, guys, I messed that up. I made the wrong choice, and I'm sorry because I know that affected you. And I hope that you don't, hold this over my head for a long time. Sometimes they'll bring things up, because they can. Because that's what kids do, and that's okay. But, we try to just forgive and move on, and I say when I'm wrong, because I think that's super important for us as adults to tell kids when we're wrong. Because they have to know that we are not perfect. All right, so back to mercy. Sometimes mercy shows up as exposure, right? The nudge was protection. The nudge that I had in my gut was protection. Look at Jonah. The storm was not punishment alone. It was an intervention. The Lord had an intervention with Jonah out there. The fish was not cruelty. It was so he didn't have the world around him. He had him contained. So he's like, okay, now that I have your attention, sir, we're going to talk about this, right? God loved Jonah too much to let him drift away unchecked. And the reason why I chose this picture is that I think that what happened with Jillian is that, she used the app one time, and it's like being in the ocean and you're kind of wading in the water, and you're just like, okay, I'm good, and you just kind of keep walking out, and then you get farther and farther away from the shore, which we'll say the shore is the Lord. You get farther and farther away, and then you're out, and you look back, and you're like, oh, snap. How'd I get here? How do I get back? It's too far away for me to get back, right? Who's going to help me? And I felt like Jillian was way out in the ocean whenever we found her and said, hey, we're here. We're going to help you get back, right? And sometimes I know people feel that way, like they've gone, it's almost easier to stay out in the water and not involve anybody else, and you can't involve the Lord because, gosh, you're out in the water far away from him, right? You went into the dance hall and the Lord let go of your hand, right? But there's always, if you see somebody out in the water, try to help them. I love that song, Rescue. Denise has been playing Rescue, and I love that song where he comes to your rescue. Also, Lauren Daigle has a song that I just love about being rescued. But if I would have said, you're on your own, kid, Godspeed with that, she probably would have drowned in it. Just let her go. But you can't. You can't do that. And also, if you're out there and you look back, the shore's still there. It just might take you a little while to get back, and that's okay. Sorry. We didn't want to humiliate her, right? And God doesn't want to humiliate you whenever you fail. But sometimes humiliation is almost necessary. Have y'all ever been humiliated? That's a big word. Anybody here been humiliated? It's embarrassing. And almost as a parent too, how many times have your kids embarrassed you? We talk about parents embarrassing their kids, but what about kids embarrassing their parents? Joshua, one time, in the middle of a young adult thing, I look over, we'd been potty training, I look over and 40 people at our house, he just drops his pants and starts, I'm like, oh my gosh, son. Go to a corner or something, they just humiliate you. They're so fun. So many stories. I said I wasn't going to tell a JC story, but I think I have to tell one. JC, when she was probably 2 or 3, she was one of those, if it's quiet, something's wrong. I'd gone to the store or something, I come back home, Michael's hanging out in the living room. I don't see JC. Hey, JC. Hey, Michael. I'm like, no, JC. Hey, Michael, where's JC? I don't know. Babe, this is not good. He's like, oh, I don't know. Maybe she's in our room or something. In our room? Why do we want her? We don't want her in our room. I'm like, JC, and she goes, Mama. I'm like, oh, gracious. JC, where are you? So I go and I look into my bathroom. Well, she has gotten toothpaste, and it's everywhere. she has gotten, we have this really nice anti-friction powder called Anti-Monkey Butt. I don't know if you've ever seen it at Tractor Supply. I know that's a weird thing to say, but it's a pink smooth powder, and it's great. She has that spread out everywhere. We had the lid off of our toilet tank because we had one of those things where, you know, you had to tap it because we were having issues with the toilet. And I see a fresh, new, open bottle of peppermint oil from Young Living floating in the tank. All right, JC, come on. And so I pick her up and I take her to Michael. And he's like, what? I'm like, I want you to clean her up. That's what I want you to do. I've got to go clean up her mess. So I go back in there. Of course, I have to go to the bathroom because as soon as I see my front door, got to go to the bathroom. So I go to the bathroom, and as I'm sitting there, I go, oh, JC decided to sprinkle the toilet with peppermint oil before she put it in the tank. Takes about 3 hours to stop burning. Just letting y'all know, 3 hours. But those are the kind of things. Oh my goodness. So, I'm so sorry, y'all. I have ADD. I'm gonna focus right now. Bring us back to reality. So, when the Spirit nudged me to check her phone, I almost ignored it. Like we talked about before, I almost ignored it. I thought, I'm sure everything's fine. But that little whisper, that interruption, that uncomfortable moment, that was actually mercy. That was God giving me mercy. Exposure is not God shaming you. It's preventing you from something worse. How many of us get mad at red lights? We just do. I typed in my phone the other day, and I was sitting at a red light. I'm like, why do we get mad at red lights? Because they stop you, and maybe they're stopping you from something else. But for some reason, we always want to go through to get through before the red light hits. But maybe the red light is exactly what we need to stop and pause. Maybe it's preventing you from something worse. Sometimes mercy shows up as look closer, ask the question, have the hard talk, right? There's so many conversations that we don't want to have, either with each other or with our children because they're hard, and that's exactly why we need to have those conversations. Because not having the conversations doesn't make it all right and fine, right? It doesn't do that, for sure. Yeah, forgot where I was going with that. I promise I slept well last night. I have not had coffee, though. Maybe that's the problem. But have the hard conversations with someone that you love. If the Spirit is nudging you to talk about something, do it. If you have a dream about someone, there might be a reason for that. Because I do that. I don't know if y'all do, but I have dreams about people, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should call them. Maybe I should check on them. Because there's a reason why the Spirit is putting them in your mind. And I don't know if y'all are big dream people, but that's okay. But if the Spirit is nudging you to pray for somebody in the middle of a store, do it. Have y'all ever done that before? It's kind of one of the coolest things ever. I was at Sam's one time, and there was this group of like 3 or 4 people, and it looked like they were cooking for a big event. I was like, hey, y'all have something big going on? And they're like, one of them said her daughter just passed away in a car accident, and we're cooking for the funeral. I'm like, oh my goodness, I am so sorry. And immediately I thought, I need to pray for them. And I didn't say, nah, maybe I don't need to pray for them. No, I need to pray. And so I immediately prayed for them right there. And I might have looked silly in the middle of Sam's, but I felt a lot better about it than if I wouldn't have. Like, am I taking away them seeing God right there? Am I taking away a blessing from them by not acting on what the Spirit has called me to do? So really think about that. Failure feels final when you're in it, but it's not. Peter failed loudly, right? David failed morally. Moses failed publicly. I have notes about Moses, and I don't know where they went. Where did Moses go? Oh, there it is. There's Moses. Mercy does not erase consequence, but it preserves calling. Consider Moses striking the rock. He misrepresented God in anger. The consequences the consequence was real. He did not enter the promised land. But God did not strip him of leadership immediately. God did not revoke his identity. God still met with him face to face. Or go back to Peter. God did not say, you failed, I'll find someone else. He said, feed my sheep. Mercy does not always remove consequence, but it protects purpose. So there will be consequences all the time. I tell the kids, they're mad whenever they get in trouble. I'm like, this is just a product of your choices. It's a consequence. And sometimes consequences show more than others. And I think that's why I have such a soft spot for teenage moms, because they are generally the ones who are shamed because the consequence of their sin is shown visibly. Physically, you cannot hide a pregnancy, usually, right? And we sometimes have done a poor job of supporting someone who has sinned and are now suffering, right? A consequence of that sin. Now, babies are blessings, 100% of the time. And me as a young preacher's wife, I kind of did something a little bit rebellious. I know that's probably hard to believe, but I was pregnant with Jillian, and one of our teenagers got pregnant. And they didn't have elders at the time, and so we had ladies' meetings and men's meetings. And so in the ladies' meetings, they were talking about the shower they were going to have for me. Wonderful, sounds great. And then for the teenage girl, they were like, well, she needs to come forward first and confess her sins, and then we can talk about that. And Michael said, if you would have been on your game, babe, you could have said, when was the last time you came forward for your sin? Right? It's like, man, that would have been a good thing to say, but maybe it was the Holy Spirit holding my tongue too. Maybe that could have been it. But at the time we were living in the parsonage, and I said, you know what? That girl and that baby deserve all the love and all the gifts. I said, we're going to have it at the preacher's house. That's what we're going to do. And so we had a shower for that baby girl at the preacher's house. And now that baby girl is a faithful Christian. I'm not saying it's because of the shower, but I'm saying sometimes whenever we withhold love or grace or mercy because of a consequence, it trickles down into their lives. Or if we show them love and say the only people who showed us love was the church, amen. Amen. We should not kick them while they're down. Trust me, they're kicking themselves enough. I guarantee you they are. There were consequences to what happened in our home. There were conversations and boundaries, hard moments, but I did not stop being Jillian's mother, and God did not stop being present. And sometimes we think one failure means, I guess I'm just not cut out for this. But that is not true at all. So, let me get back to my last page. Okay. Moses failed publicly. Jonah failed intentionally. Like he literally disobeyed the Lord. Noah said, nah, I'm going to go this way. Not permissive. In every story, God remained. Not permissive, not passive, but merciful. And maybe your failure is in parenting. Maybe it's in marriage. Maybe it's in your private thought life. Maybe it's something no one else knows. But if you're feeling conviction, if you're grieving it, if you are here leaning in, that's evidence that He has not left you. Mercy is not God pretending that we did not fail. Mercy is God staying when we do fail. All right, that's all I have for this. So y'all can go to the bathroom, get more snacks, and then go to your next breakout. Thank you so much.